Hi, Library Associates. Welcome to the Maryland Public Library team. In this short video, we will take a look at how public libraries are organized in Maryland, be introduced to some of our state and professional resources, and begin to discuss how libraries bring value to their communities. Let's get started. Public libraries in each state are set up differently, with differing regulations and sources of funding. We are fortunate in Maryland to have great supporting legislation, strong leadership, and comparatively good funding. The Maryland State Library is no longer under the Department of Education. It's now a separate agency with its own board. The Maryland Library for the Blind and Physically Handicapped falls under the Maryland State Library. There are also resource centers. The State Library Resource Center, or SLRC, is housed at the Enoch Pratt Free Library. There are also 3 regional library resource centers. SLRC and the regional centers make interlibrary loans of books and materials, supply collections and exhibits of specialized materials, provide consultant services, organize in-service training for library staff, and develop and operate cooperative services among libraries, like databases. Funding for SLRC and the regional resource centers are based on a per capita assessment from the state. SLRC also provides backup reference services for your system. We can call them at any time to have them help with difficult reference questions. There are 24 public library systems, 1 in each county and 1 in Baltimore City. Each county's public library is administered by a board of directors to whom the director or chief executive officer reports. The board is comprised of people from the local community. Funding comes primarily from the city or county, with a small amount from the state and even a smaller amount from the federal government. Although the state defines a minimum budget, the vast majority of the budget of each library system comes from the county or city. In your discussions with your library director or CEO, and in the board meeting that you attended, you probably started to develop a picture of who your library stakeholders are. However, some of your stakeholders may never even come into your library. A recent study by OCLC and the American Library Association found that the majority of voters do come into the library, and that's good news. However, these voters often have no idea where library funding is coming from. In fact, 59% of voters think most library funding comes from non-local sources. In reality, 86% comes from local sources. But the good news is that most voters are supportive of library services, and 76% say the federal government should either increase public funding for libraries or keep it the same. But that hasn't necessarily protected libraries from budget cuts. Libraries across the state and the U.S. have been challenged by budget cuts. We've seen cuts on the local and state level, and now there's a proposal to eliminate all library and museum funding in the federal budget. While the portion of the federal budget allocated to libraries is minimal, its elimination will have a profound effect on our ability to deliver services here in Maryland and across the country. While we see the value we deliver to our customers every day, the people who never set foot in a library may not understand the importance of libraries in their communities. Here's just a small sampling of how libraries across the state were funded in 2016. As you can see, most of our libraries here in Maryland depend primarily on county funding. Enoch Pratt Free Library receives more money from the state since it is the State Library Resource Center. One thing that may be a little misleading in the charts is the state money. Currently, the state of Maryland receives LISTA, or Library Services and Technology Act grants, of almost $3 million from the IMLS. They pass much of this money along to the public library systems and the organizations that support them. So much of this money appears to the library systems as from the state. There's been a lot of effort made by library organizations all over the world to come up with the method to measure the value of libraries. The problem with these valuation methods is that the easiest numbers to obtain are the ones that discuss economic expenditures, or how much we've saved due to borrowing rather than purchasing. Unfortunately, this number does not capture activities like helping people get jobs, helping people who are homeless get back on their feet, helping people who need appropriate medical care to understand their options, helping people retrain to meet new challenges, helping people with diverse needs accomplish their goals, helping communities recover from crisis, and helping to prepare children develop 21st century skills. Public libraries have been working diligently on ways to communicate how libraries fit into the quality of life of communities. So, we've been collecting real-life stories of libraries making a difference in people's lives. Every library staff member has an important role in collecting and communicating these stories. The Maryland Library Association and Citizens for Maryland Libraries have strong advocacy initiatives. If you're on their mailing lists, you will be contacted when important legislation comes up on the federal or state level. This gives us the opportunity to contact our representatives to encourage them to support the library. Library customers can also participate. These advocacy groups also have toolkits designed to help libraries get their message across to legislators and the public. In preparation for our discussion in class, think about the different ways your library system is communicating the value of your library to its stakeholders. Has your library system experienced budget cuts or the threat of them? Has your library system had to cut programs or services? And how does your library system fund new programs or services? Look forward to talking to you on our face-to-face sessions.